in 2026 will still be synonymous with impossible prices. But not everywhere. Far from Miami, Orlando and Tampa, there are towns that even Floridians don't know about. Places where time moves more slowly, neighbours still matter, and homes are sold at prices that feel like a secret. For those of us nearing retirement, this isn't just about money. It's about returning to a quieter life, a more human life, a simpler one. I didn't believe it either until I saw it with my own eyes. Today, I'm going to reveal 10 towns in Florida where right now houses are practically being given away. And I'll tell you this, each one is a better opportunity than the last. 10. Palatka, Florida. The charm along the St. Johns River. Palatka doesn't advertise itself with big billboards nor appear in tourist guides, but anyone who stops here discovers a town that breathes to the rhythm of the St. Johns River. Its quiet streets, lined with oaks and old houses, seem to hold stories best told at sunset. It is a place where life feels slower, more intimate, as if each day were designed to be lived calmly. In the year 2026, homes will range between $95,000 and $120,000, figures that in other parts of the state would be unimaginable. The cost of living will remain about 20% lower than the state average, allowing every dollar to stretch with ease. For retirees, this will mean being able to cover basic expenses without compromising savings and still having room to enjoy small daily luxuries. Retirees who arrive here will find that basic services barely reach $150 per month, while the internet and phone bill will hardly exceed $60. Local markets will continue to offer fresh fruits and vegetables at reasonable prices. And in downtown cafes, one can enjoy a full breakfast for less than $5, accompanied by long conversations and the murmur of the nearby river. Family restaurants will keep menus affordable, and plazas will fill with neighbours enjoying the outdoors. The climate will set the rhythm of the seasons. Winters will be cool but manageable, inviting quiet afternoons at home, while summers, mild and luminous, will open space for community festivals and walks along the boardwalk. Riverside parks will become gathering places where neighbours and visitors meet to celebrate local culture. What will make Palatka unique is that riverside atmosphere. At sunset, the sun dyes the river golden, and each day ends with the feeling that life by the water will not only be accessible, but also deeply enriching. Retiring here will mean living in an environment where nature and community meet at every corner, and where each day is built with simple gestures that make all the difference. 9. Live Oak, Florida. Agricultural tradition and simple living. In Live Oak, the first thing you notice is the smell of damp earth and the murmur of the trees that give the town its name. Here, life is measured in simple routines, and each day seems marked by the intimate relationship between the community and the land. It is a place where agricultural tradition is not a memory of the past, but a living practice that defines the town's identity. In the year 2026, homes will cost around $100,000, with the cost of living 18% lower than the national average. Retirees will find a place where property taxes remain moderate, and basic services rarely exceed $140 per month. This will allow every pension to stretch easily, ensuring a comfortable and stable life. Markets will be full of tomatoes, corn, and artisanal honey, while family restaurants will offer full menus for less than $12. Downtown cafes will become meeting points where conversations extend without hurry, and where each cup of coffee will remind you that life here is enjoyed without the need for luxuries. Public transportation will remain affordable, and gasoline will stay within reasonable ranges, allowing frequent travel without affecting the budget. Healthcare will not be a problem either. Regional hospitals and community clinics will guarantee adequate care without excessive costs. The climate will be warm, with long summers and green winters that invite walks through tree-lined parks. Retirees will be able to participate in agricultural fairs, attend local festivals, and enjoy quiet afternoons in family cafes. What will distinguish Live Oak is its traditional and community atmosphere, agricultural fairs, family cafes, and quiet streets where life will feel organised and stable. At sunset, the warm lights of the houses will illuminate the streets, reminding everyone that true wealth lies in stability and community. Retiring here will mean living in an environment where each day is built with simple gestures and where tradition remains alive on every corner. Before we continue with the journey, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you want to stay well informed, and make sure you always make the best decisions for your future. 8. Quincy, Florida. Living history in the Panhandle. Quincy doesn't present itself with beaches or theme parks, but with Victorian facades that seem to speak of the past and streets where the golden age of tobacco can still be felt. It is a town defined by its history, by the way each old building tells part of the collective memory. Walking here is like strolling through an open-air museum, where houses and plazas become silent witnesses of entire generations. In the year 2026, homes will range between $110,000 and $130,000. Figures that will remain a relief compared to the values in Tallahassee or Pensacola. The cost of living will stay 15% lower than the state average, allowing retirees to live comfortably even if they rely solely on a pension. Basic services, electricity, water, and heating will rarely exceed $160 per month, while internet and phone bills will hardly surpass $60. Daily life in Quincy will revolve around its historical atmosphere. Local markets will offer fresh and artisanal products, from vegetables grown on nearby farms to bread baked in traditional ovens. Family restaurants will keep full menus under $15, and cafes will become spaces where conversations mix with the nostalgia of a past that still feels present. Nearby universities will open their doors with cultural activities, from lectures to concerts, keeping minds active and connected to the community. Healthcare will be guaranteed by regional hospitals and community clinics offering quality care without excessive costs. Public transportation will remain affordable and gasoline will stay within reasonable ranges, making mobility easy without large expenses. The climate will be another ally. Cool winters that invite quiet afternoons at home and warm summers that fill the streets with life and community festivals. What will make Quincy unique is its historical atmosphere. Retiring here will mean living surrounded by old architecture and a community that values tradition. Each evening, the Victorian facades will glow with warm tones, and retirees will feel that time here is not measured by clocks, but by shared memories. Quincy will be a place where history and accessibility unite to guarantee a full life. where each day ends with the feeling of having found a corner where past and present coexist in harmony. 7. Sebring, Florida. Sunrise over the lake and accessible living. Sunrise in Sebring has its own rhythm. It is not the bustle of big cities, nor the absolute silence of forgotten towns, but a mix of sounds that mark the identity of this place. The splash of oars in Lake Jackson, the song of birds waking with the first light, and the murmurs of neighbours greeting each other as they walk to the market. Here, life is measured in reflections on the water and pauses that invite you to breathe calmly. In the year 2026, Sebring will consolidate itself as one of the most affordable towns for those seeking retirement without compromising savings. Homes will range between $120,000 and $140,000. Figures that will remain a relief compared to the exorbitant values of Miami or Tampa. The cost of living will stay about 17% lower than the national average, allowing every pension to stretch with ease. Basic services, electricity, water and heating will rarely exceed $150 per month, while internet and phone bills will hardly surpass $60. Daily life in Sebring will be built around the lake. In the morning, retirees can visit local markets selling tropical fruits, fresh fish, and artisanal bread at reasonable prices. At midday, lunch in a family restaurant will cost less than $15, and afternoons can be spent walking along lakeside trails or participating in community activities organised in parks. Cafes will be meeting points where conversations extend without hurry, and each cup of coffee will remind you that life here is enjoyed without the need for luxuries. Healthcare will not be a problem. Sebring will have regional hospitals and community clinics guaranteeing quality care without excessive costs. For retirees, this will mean peace of mind, knowing that care will always be available and accessible. Public transportation will remain affordable and gasoline will stay within reasonable ranges, making mobility easy without large expenses. The climate will set the rhythm of the seasons. Winters will be cool but manageable, inviting quiet afternoons at home, while summers warm and luminous will open space for community festivals and outdoor concerts. Life here will feel like a natural cycle. Golden sunrises, quiet afternoons, and nights where the lake reflects the city lights like stars. Sebring will be a refuge for those seeking the calm of water and the security of an accessible budget. Retiring here will mean living in an environment where each day is measured in aquatic landscapes and in the certainty that life can be simple and fulfilling. At sunset, the lake will become a mirror that returns the image of a town that doesn't need grand speeches to present itself. It is enough to look at the horizon and understand that here, wealth lies in tranquility. 6. Arcadia, Florida. The echo of rodeos and community life. Arcadia cannot be understood without the bustle of rodeos. Here, cowboy tradition is not a show for tourists, but part of the community's identity. The streets fill with posters announcing competitions, stables become meeting points, and local fairs mix music, food, and tradition. In the year 2026, houses will cost around $105,000, and the cost of living will remain 20% lower than the state average. Mornings in Arcadia will begin with community markets selling farm vegetables, fresh meat, and artisanal products. Family cafes will be meeting places where For less than $5, you can enjoy breakfast accompanied by long conversations. Basic services will barely reach $140 per month, and internet and phone bills will hardly exceed $60. Regional hospitals will guarantee adequate medical care, and public transportation will remain affordable, making mobility easy without large expenses. But beyond the numbers, Arcadia will be a place where retiring will mean returning to the essentials. Retirees will be able to attend local rodeos, participate in community fairs, and enjoy quiet afternoons in family cafes. Life here will not be a silent retirement, but one full of community activity, with the certainty that each day is measured in encounters and shared traditions. The climate will accompany this dynamic. Summers will be warm and full of festivals, while mild winters will allow an active life throughout the year. Parks and open spaces will become stages of coexistence, where neighbours and visitors gather to celebrate local culture. Arcadia will, in short, be a place where tradition remains alive and where community is the true wealth. For retirees, living here will mean experiencing an environment where each day is built with simple gestures: a greeting on the street, an agricultural fair, an afternoon at the rodeo. And at nightfall, the warm lights of the houses will illuminate the streets, reminding everyone that life here doesn't need artifices to feel complete. 5. Brooksville, Florida. Among hills, forests, and an accessible retirement, Brooksville doesn't need grand speeches to present itself. It is enough to look at its gentle hills and endless forests to understand that here, nature is the protagonist. It is a town that seems suspended in time, with quiet streets and houses blending into the green of the trees. In the year 2026, homes will range between $115,000 and $135,000, figures that will remain competitive compared to other towns in Central Florida. The cost of living will stay about 16% lower than the national average, allowing retirees to cover basic expenses without compromising savings. Daily life in Brooksville will feel like a return to the essentials. Local markets will sell fresh fruits, farm vegetables, and artisanal products at reasonable prices. Family restaurants will offer full menus for less than $14, and cafes will be meeting points where the community gathers to share stories and enjoy everyday life. Basic services will rarely exceed $150 per month, and healthcare will be guaranteed by regional hospitals, offering quality without excessive costs. What will truly make the difference is the natural atmosphere. Retirees will be able to walk through parks where birds sing at every corner, exercise outdoors, or simply contemplate the landscape at sunset. The climate will support this lifestyle: cool but manageable winters and warm summers that invite spending more time outside. Brooksville will be a refuge for those seeking the calm of nature and the security of an accessible budget. Each evening, golden reflections over the hills will turn the town into a poetic scene, offering retirees the feeling that life here is measured in landscapes and shared silences. Retiring in Brooksville will mean living in an environment where nature is the true wealth, and where each day ends with the certainty that tranquility has no price. 4. Crestview, Florida. Organized life in the Panhandle. Crestview is not discovered on a tourist map, but in the way neighbors greet each other on the street and how the community seems to function like a well-oiled machine. It is a town defined by its organisation and by the sense of security it conveys. In the year 2026, houses here will range between $120,000 and $140,000. Figures that will remain attractive compared to other towns in northern Florida. The cost of living will stay about 14% lower than the state average, allowing retirees to live comfortably even if they rely solely on a pension. Life in Crestview will feel like a neighbourhood diary. Local markets will be full of fresh products, family restaurants will keep menus under $15, and cafes will be places where conversations extend without hurry. Basic services will rarely exceed $160 per month, and regional hospitals will guarantee adequate medical care without excessive costs. Public transportation will remain affordable, making mobility easy without large expenses. But Crestview will not be just numbers and services. It will be a place where routine becomes security, where each community gesture reinforces the sense of belonging. Retirees will be able to participate in activities organised by the community, from agricultural fairs to local concerts, and will feel that life here is built with small details that make the difference. The climate will be another ally. Warm summers full of festivals and mild winters that allow an active life throughout the year. Crestview will be a place where retiring will mean living in an environment where each day is measured in small community gestures and where stability will be the true wealth. Before revealing the last 3 towns, remember to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. This way, you'll continue discovering unique opportunities and avoid costly decisions in the future. 3. Okeechobee, Florida. A full day by the Great Lake. Okeechobee cannot be understood without its lake. It is the heart of the town, the immense mirror that sets the rhythm of daily life. From very early in the morning, when the sun barely rises and dyes the water pink, fishermen prepare their boats, and retirees walk along the trails bordering the shore. Here, routine is built around the water, and each day seems narrated like a story that begins at sunrise and ends with the golden reflection of sunset. In the year 2026, Okeechobee will consolidate itself as one of the most affordable towns for those seeking retirement without compromising savings. Homes will cost around $110,000, and the cost of living will remain approximately 18% lower than the national average. Basic services, electricity, water and heating, will barely reach $150 per month, while internet and phone bills will hardly exceed $60. For retirees, this will mean financial peace of mind and the possibility of enjoying a simple yet fulfilling life. Morning in Okeechobee will be lived in local markets, where tropical fruits, fresh fish and artisanal bread are sold at reasonable prices. Downtown cafes will offer breakfast for less than $5, accompanied by long conversations and the murmur of the nearby lake. At midday, family restaurants will serve full menus for less than $14, and plazas will fill with neighbours enjoying the outdoors. The afternoon will be dedicated to walks along the lakeside trails, boat rides, or simply contemplating the horizon. Healthcare will be guaranteed by regional hospitals and community clinics offering quality care without excessive costs. Public transportation will remain affordable and gasoline will stay within reasonable ranges, making mobility easy without large expenses. The climate will be another ally. Cool but manageable winters and warm summers that invite spending more time outside. At nightfall, the lake will reflect reddish and golden tones, and the town will become a refuge of calm. For retirees, living here will mean experiencing an environment where each day is measured in aquatic landscapes, and in the certainty that life can be simple and fulfilling. Okeechobee will be a place where time stands still, where community is built around the water, and where each day ends with the feeling of having found a corner where tranquility is the true wealth. 2. Perry, Florida. Agricultural Fair and Southern Life. Perry presents itself with the bustle of an agricultural fair, stalls of fresh vegetables, live music, and neighbours greeting each other as if they were family. It is a town where Southern tradition remains alive and where community becomes the centre of daily life. Here, retiring will not be an act of isolation, but of integration into a culture that celebrates what is simple and shared. In the year 2026, houses will cost around $100,000, and the cost of living will remain approximately 19% lower than the state average. Basic services will barely reach $140 per month, while internet and phone bills will hardly exceed $60. Community markets will offer fresh meat, farm vegetables, and artisanal products at affordable prices, and family restaurants will keep full menus under $13. Life in Perry will feel like a return to the essentials. Retirees will be able to attend community fairs, participate in local festivals, and enjoy family cafes where conversations extend without hurry. Regional hospitals will guarantee adequate medical care without excessive costs, and public transportation will remain affordable, making mobility easy without large expenses. The climate will be another ally. Warm summers full of festivals and mild winters that allow an active life throughout the year. But beyond the numbers, Perry will be a place where Southern tradition remains alive. Retirees who arrive here will discover that life is measured in simple gestures: a greeting on the street, an agricultural fair, an afternoon of music in the plaza. Retiring in Perry will mean living in an environment where each day is built with the certainty that community is the true wealth. 1. Palmetto, Florida. Between tradition and modernity. Palmetto opens as a bridge between two worlds, the tradition of its historic centre and the modernity that has gradually settled into its streets. Walking through Palmetto means encountering old buildings that tell stories of past generations, but also modern cafes and community markets that reflect the vitality of a present in constant motion. In the year 2026, houses here will range between $120,000 and $140,000, figures that will remain competitive compared to other towns in the Tampa Bay area. The cost of living will stay about 15% lower than the state average, allowing retirees to live comfortably even if they rely solely on a pension. Basic services, electricity, water and heating will rarely exceed $150 per month, while internet and phone bills will hardly surpass $60. Daily life in Palmetto will be built around its diverse community. Local markets will offer fresh fruits, freshly caught fish, and artisanal products at reasonable prices. Family restaurants will keep full menus under $15, and cafes will become meeting points where conversations extend without hurry. Regional hospitals will guarantee adequate medical care without excessive costs, and public transportation will remain affordable, making mobility easy without large expenses. What will truly make the difference is the mix of tradition and modernity. Retirees will be able to stroll through the historic centre, attend cultural festivals celebrating local heritage, and enjoy modern activities such as outdoor concerts or food fairs. The climate will be another ally. Warm summers full of festivals and mild winters that allow an active life throughout the year. Palmetto will be a place where retiring will mean living in an environment where history and modernity meet at every corner. For retirees, this will mean the possibility of enjoying a full life, with the security of an accessible budget and the richness of a community that celebrates both past and present. At nightfall, the lights of the historic centre will mix with the vitality of modern cafes, reminding everyone that true wealth lies in diversity and in the ability to live each day as a celebration. And so, after this tour of Florida towns that even Floridians don't know about, where houses are practically being given away right now, in 2026, the big question arises. Which of these 10 would you choose as your favourite at first sight? I'd love to hear your opinion. Have you visited any of them, lived in any of them? Or do you know someone who has? Any experience or information you share in the comments could be invaluable to those considering moving or retiring to a place where life feels more accessible and meaningful. And speaking of helping, it might also be useful to watch the video I'm about to show you. Because as you know, staying informed is key, and for that, nothing beats subscribing to the channel and leaving a like so we can continue exploring together the best and sometimes most surprising places to enjoy life without spending a fortune.